I wish that I didn't go to this coaching centers. The class starts at 4 o'clock. I have the gates close by 3:55 p.m. If you're absent for a day, next day your parent has to come. I joined there also. They made everyone sit in the order of their marks in the Ramaya entrance exam.
So, welcome guys to a brand new episode of IIT Podcast with Somnath, and today we have a very special guest again. So, he's from electrical, not from electronics this time, and he has studied again from the South Hyderabad region, and then we'll speak to him. I've been his lab partner in the first year in electrical again, uh, and then getting right to it, introducing Sai Bharadwaj. So welcome Sai to the show.
Hi, Somnath. So, very happy to see you first, as a part of this podcast. So, I think it's been 9 years, 8 to 9 years, right, since we met last time, and you just look the same except for the hair. But yeah, so yeah, seems like
Okay.
yesterday. And thanks for having me in the show.
Yep, great. Yeah, thanks for reaching out as well. Part of the motivation for this podcast was also to one was to showcase the journeys of IITians, their unique, diverse backgrounds, and from where they came, and how they got into a common place like IIT. But again, it was also for me to reach out to people who have had some sort of contact, but lost a lot of it during the last 9, 10 years. So happy to connect, and it has been a long time. So my bad. I haven't. Okay, so Sai, that we've kind of broken the podcast down into three sections, life before IIT, at IIT, and then beyond. So we'll start off with the first. I've heard from you that you grew up in a lot of different backgrounds in your schooling years as well, and you wanted to speak about the school level as a life as a student that you grew up with, right? So what was your experience there?
So me as a student, I should say till my third or fourth standard, I was I won't say naughty, but a little bit like rowdy type. So I used to get into constant fights with my friends and beat them up, get beaten up by them, and things like that. I was not a very attentive student in the class, but teachers used to feel that I'm quite intelligent. That's the remark I received from them, or my parents received from them. So I was not very good at studies, and my mom had to very frequently go to my friend's house to get the notes so that I can complete all the notes, and the next day I used to return to him in school. So that was my, I can say, academics till maybe third or fourth standard. In fourth standard, it so happened that my father saw that I'm not able to solve some basic math problems. Like we have this unitary method and all that. Like it's like the cost of 10 apples is 200. What's the cost of one apple or two apples? Problems like that. So I was not able to do them. I was not able to do them even after by hearting the solutions. So he got very angry, and I got left and right from him in all ways. And so I got terrified, and I started reading it. I started solving the problems. Initially, it was a little bit of rote learning at it, but in the process, I understood the concepts, and that one incident, I can say, mellowed me down, made me very humble, and I developed interest in reading the textbooks. And simultaneously, so I have been trained in classical music. So I have learned Veena since I was around 9 years of age. I practice it till today, and I've given a lot of concerts and all. So yeah, so my life was mostly about studies, school, and the music. Seventh standard, so my parents saw that okay, I'm interested in studies, and I'm interested in reading, and both of them are very well educated, and they were very well equipped to teach me whatever was being taught in school and something over that. So I was in CBSE syllabus, and at that time CBSE syllabus had relatively the least what to say portion, or the least course content. Like For example, there is this chapter called set theory, right, where we have this like union, intersection, venn diagrams and things like that. So in CBSE, I think it is taught usually in the 11th or 12th, but in the other syllabi, it was taught in 6th or 7th maybe. So my parents wanted me to like get learn those. So they used to teach me after school and after I come back home from playing and all. So they purchased maths, physics, chemistry textbooks and a biology textbook also, and they started. They used to teach me. So that way I developed interest in reading things. Then in the second half of seventh, maybe um, I think a couple of months before the boards. So at that time we were in Hyderabad. My parents got transferred to Hyderabad as a part of their jobs. So I was down with chicken pox at that time, and my mom also took leave for around 3 weeks to take care of me. So that time she got some question papers, which had maths, physics, and those questions and all. They were like very trick questions, and thinking about them, solving them, in developed a lot of interest. So I just tried to solve them. So and I was slowly able to do it. Then after a few days, so this was like when the chicken pox was almost healing, the
Mhm.
last. Then slowly she said that okay, there is going to be some entrance exams, some you can just write them. This is so we have been teaching you this all these maths, physics, chemistry, right, in your seventh. So now that coaching center will take care of it. So
Okay, so was there a plan already from their side in place and you did not know about it?
No, I don't think it was a very pre-planned thing.
Mhm.
So my uncle was settled in Hyderabad. So his son used to go to this coaching center, and a couple of my dad's colleagues' children also, right, used to go to some coaching centers, some tuitions and all. There was something like beyond home tuitions. So I heard of people going there, like waking up at 4 in the morning, going there. Then from
Mhm.
there they used to go to school and so the and some people used to go in the evening. They used to come back late to home, and they were all seen as some people who are like really working hard. So okay, I wanted to clear that exam, and so they used to be these two coaching centers mainly. That one is Sharma's Institute and Prashanti Institute. So I gave the exams for both of them. I cleared both the exams, and then my parents said, "Okay, now you'll join in the Sharma's Institute, and you have to do well." So yeah, so I joined there in eighth standard. So they used to cover all this syllabus, and they used to teach slightly more advanced topic, like maybe a part of ninth standard syllabus in eighth standard, maybe 10th standard syllabus in ninth standard and all. So yeah, I started going there, and initially it was fun. It was interesting. I met new friends. So the journey from my home to the coaching institute was like almost 1 hour. So my timetable used to be like wake up in the morning, then go to school, come back from school, get ready for the coaching, and start from home at around 3:45, 4 types in the evening. Go there, and the classes used to be from 5:15 to 7:45. Start from there by 8 o'clock, reach home by 8:45, 9 types. So I used to come back home, have dinner, practice some music, do some school homework, and sleep. This used to be my regular day. So this was going on in the entire eighth standard. I was actually quite happy about it. I was happy that I'm learning something, right? And it so happened that after I think the second half of eighth standard or a few months before the exams and all, I just got a realization that okay, now I'm actually not playing so much sports and all, like which I used to sometimes play after my school hours with my friends, or I'm not hanging out so much with my friends because this institute also it had exams like on every Sunday. They have this exam in the early morning. So Saturdays I used to go to the coaching, come back, then sleep very early, wake up at around 3:34 in the morning to go to these exams, and then come back home, sleep during the day, and I just have the evening for myself. So basically, it was not just me, but it was even my entire family who was actually working hard to accommodate this kind of a timetable, right? So I think we all were collectively working hard to make something work for me, and I didn't know what that was, right?
So were you an only child or did you have
I
siblings?
have a younger brother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he's
Okay.
around 4.5 years younger to me.
Okay. And did you see the similar kind of journey for him as well?
It was similar, but then my parents had some realizations after my journey, and they did not do what they felt that shouldn't have been done in my case. So yeah, so I was the guinea pig, you can say.
So what
Okay.
were the changes that you saw for your brother that you wish you had for yourself?
No, I wish that I didn't go to this coaching centers. Okay. So for my brother in the eighth standard, they joined him in some tuition, very close to my house only. And on I think the first or second day of his coaching, no, he came back home crying, saying that no, these lecturers are not talking properly. They are so strict.
So we'll get on to the 11th and 12th. So this is when generally you had your foundation a bit for IIT in the Sharma Institute, right? In Hyderabad.
So I'll talk a little
Mm.
bit about
Yeah.
Sharma Institute, right? So I think when it came to ninth standard, I was not very I was interested in what they were teaching, but I was not really in the competition more, or no, I didn't want to compete with people around me. So for me, it was like I'm going there, I'm just spending some good time, I'm getting some knowledge, and I'm coming back. So I cherished all the moments there rather than the marks and everything, which I don't know was right at that point of time. But yeah, and I used to write the competitive exams, like all this All India Unified Council and things like that, right? Yeah. And I was also the odd one out in my school, because in my school I was the only one, or yeah, two of like one of the two people who were going to this coaching. So in my school, people used to feel that I'm just wasting out my time doing things unnecessary at that age. So that was there. And after my ninth standard, before the 10th, my parents had to I think they got this notification that they have to pay the fees for this the next year, that is the 10th. And then we were just talking one day, and they asked me, so we are going to pay for 10, so are you going to perform better over there? And they asked me, what do you want to become? Then I said I want to become a doctor, because I always used to admire teachers and doctors
Mhm.
more than anyone else. I did not have much knowledge about engineering. So my father is an engineer. I just knew that much, and there were few people around me. They used to say that okay, they want to study so and so engineering in IITs. That was the only thing I knew about engineering, and yeah, so for me, IIT was just like a competitive exam which you clear, and after that, what happens is you go to IIT and that's it, done. Like your life is settled. So that's it. I don't know what goes on in there and nothing. I didn't know that there is it's a college and the campus existed or nothing like that. So I told them that I want to become a doctor, and they kind of scared me, saying that you have to work very hard. It's very competitive. They never spoke about life as a doctor, but they spoke about getting seat
Mhm.
into the medical entrance and all. They showed the example of one of my neighbors who studied very hard to get into. She used to study like 15 hours a day to clear the. She got a very good rank, but yeah, she studied very hard. So they said you have to study so much, and you will be left with no option if you don't clear it. So I got a bit scared, and I also got this feeling of missing out. Like if I don't join the Sharma Institute in my 10th, so I joined there. I was going to the classes. I discontinued after maybe 7 or 8 months into my 10th standard, because I was not doing anything over there, or it was really not helping me so much. So I just stayed at home. I prepared for the exams and all that, and that was the time I was seeing some evenings at my home after almost 2 to 2.5 years, and prepared for the board exams. I did okay, but after that, these institutes, they have these coaching or some fast track kind of a coaching for getting admission into some good coaching centers in 11th and 12th. For then they are all for IIT JEE, AIEEE, and we had these IIT, AIEEE, and those exams, right? Not like I think how it is today. So yeah, these coaching centers were for that, and they used to have different sections for all these things. So I wrote the entrance exams for Ramaya. Then there is one more institute called Krishnamurti, and a couple of others. And my father joined me in Fiji after writing all these exams. So my parents were kind of against Narayana and Sri Chaitanya. They didn't want me to join there, because they felt that okay, they just make people by heart. and nothing else. And I also didn't really have much inclination towards joining there, because I think one reason could be like there was an Narayana and Sri Chetan near my house also, and a lot of my school people, they just joined there. So I and they're not studying in IIT, so I used to get this feeling that okay, so maybe this is not an IIT institute and all. So I thought okay, fine. So I joined in Fiji after writing all these entrance exams for Ramaya and all that. I After joining in Fiji, I wrote some Fiji's this exam. So they segregate you into different sections, right? So that I wrote, I got good score there. So I think I was in the top or some A1, A2, something like that. So I was, I think, in A1 or A2. I don't remember. So I was supposed about to join there, and before that, I got a call from like Ramaya Institute saying that okay, so what these people do is they usually publish a list, and um, they put it outside the institute. They don't call as such. So someone called me and said, okay, your name is there on that list. You have cleared the entrance exam. It was one of the very tough entrance exams after 10th. And that was the time when this Narayana, Chaitanya and all did not really come so much into limelight. So the concept was like you have your college, that is the 11th and 12th, and then these are all the extra coaching centers which have some tie up with the college, so that college has gives you some flexibility in order to attend their classes if at all they want extra hours and all. So I cleared that exam, and it was a shock to all of us that I cleared that exam. And then my parents, this thing they told me later, but that time that just were happy and said that okay, you joined there. But so they said that one. So later on, at some point of time, they told me that okay, when you cleared the entrance exam, then we thought okay, you should actually try for IIT also, and that was the reason they joined me over there. So I joined Ramaya Institute in 11th and 12th, and when I joined there, like so it is basically an independent house. It is in a big area. It is owned by one of the lecturers over there. He teaches chemistry. His name is Madhusudan. So like ground floor, it is his house. Then there is one classroom in the ground floor, two classrooms in the first floor, and one or two classrooms in the second floor. That was how it was, and the rules were quite strict. Like, so I joined in the evening batch. So the class starts at 4 o'clock. I have the gates closed by 3:55 p.m. And if you're absent for a day, next day your parent has to come with you. And the other thing is, I think you're not supposed to write other entrance examinations, not entrance, sorry, other competitive exams for the IIT, all the practice exams for IIT and all. So these were some of the rules, and once I joined there, also they made everyone sit in the order of their marks in the Ramaya entrance exam. So maybe that was to develop a competitive spirit, but it did a very opposite thing for me. So one thing was that the teaching and all was very good. It was basically not for the examination purpose as such, but it was very good. And so I also started preparing the subjects by selecting some very good textbooks to read. Like for maths, I had like two, three textbooks. One is the TMH, and a few books like that. And for physics, I uh, read a Resnick Halliday book. I still carry that book with me. So, and for chemistry, I had a couple of books because I was so inclined towards reading textbooks and everything. So that was how it was. But it was the atmosphere there was the enforced discipline, and the this enforced categorizing of students was not. Something which was very pleasant, or it was maybe demotivating. So I mean, I will not want my son to be treated like that by anyone, no matter how important or significant they are going to be. So that was the effect it had on me, right? It was kind of unnecessary. So
That's a very important point that you bring up, actually. So, one of the motivations, sorry for the noise. One of the motivations that I want to reach, audience is the parents as well. It's easier from our hindsight to know, okay, what we didn't like, but a lot of the times parents didn't know what was going on inside the institutes. And as we are going on to the next stage, like you are a parent already and you have a son, so your perspective will have and might have and already has changed a little bit about how you want life for them to, be at some of these institutes, and whether you want to go into those institutes itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very good point. The insides, a lot of people might not know. So it's
Yeah.
not all rosy. It's it's weekly. How do you do per week? You are judged by that, right?
Yes. Yes. Coming to the IIT exam day,
Mhm.
so my preparation, I could clearly feel that it was not up to the mark in the last 1 month, and yeah, so because I did not prepare as a competitive exam or in the pattern of the exam, this one, and I did not complete the entire syllabus also. But what I read, I read very perfectly, and it was only maybe 50% of the entire syllabus, but I was very perfect at it, and that was the only thing. So yeah, so 2010, I think April, second Sunday of April, I went to the exam center, and I was not having a proper sleep, and I was a little unwell. I was having some temperature and all, and when even in the exam I was not feeling very comfortable, and the paper also was pretty tough. It was quite tough. It was actually scary, like the questions itself looked, you read them, it was very scary. So some simple questions also I missed, and I didn't do the exam well, and I came home, but I did not really express it to anyone that I no didn't do it well. So I just kept that with myself. So that was what happened on.
Yeah. You said that. What was the reaction like after you said you did not do well in the first attempt
Uh-huh.
at IIT, and then you come home, you realize, okay, it may not happen this time. So what was the discussion going on with your parents at that time?
So with my parents, it was not much discussion. So they also did not get the vibes that I did well, right? So nothing much. So basically, we had a lot of other competitive exams. So in that week only, I think on Thursday or Friday, we had this one. I think ISAT, that is IAST, Indian Institute of Space Technology, and then I think next week there was AIEEE, and yeah, I applied for a lot of exams, right? So it was like now IIT JEE is done. I have to prepare for other exams or get myself ready for other exams. That was how it was. The next day after IIT JEE, uh, so I was free, and I watched this Three Idiots movie. So then I got to know that okay, yeah, okay, this is how IITs are, and it's fun. Okay, because I think other engineering colleges which they're showing some other movies are also, I didn't find them so fun. So it was very good, and all swag students and all. And I thought, okay, yeah, so I think these people have some swag. I have to be among them. And I think the next day I found in the internet some brochure which has details of all the IITs and everything like that. Then I was like, okay, oh, so this is what an IIT is, and all this, because before that I applied for VIT and a lot of other exams, and I still remember asking my dad, like, okay, so VIT is so high tech. Why am I struggling so much to clear JEE? I can join in VIT as well. So he just laughed. He didn't answer anything. But yeah, so I think, yeah, after seeing that movie and after going through the brochure, then I decided that no, okay, this is it. I want to clear this exam and join that institute. And I made up my mind very firmly that I did not do any. I was, even while writing the ISAT exam, which was on Thursday, the immediate Thursday after that, it was just there in my mind that okay, there is no point writing in this exam because I'm going to sit at home or prepare for 1 year. I'm going to clear this exam and I'm going to join the college. So that was there. So I didn't do that exam well. I think AI also, there was a very small mistake from my side. I just filled the OMR. I skipped one question in the one I think one column in the OMR. So I could not fill it well, and later on I couldn't rub that also. So that kept my rank like very far away. Um, so but even during that time I was quite sure that I want to drop 1 year and prepare for IIT. So I told this to my parents and everyone the day we got a few results. So firstly, IIT JEE result, I did not qualify, and The atmosphere at home was very bad. Some of my friends who studied with me qualified the exam, and I think by that time some other students also they were joining in engineering colleges across not IITs but other engineering colleges. So, but I was still firm that I want to study, because without studying only I could at least do this much. So I want to study and study and clear this exam, and then if I don't clear, it's okay. But at least I've done everything from my part. So my entire family was discouraging me. And I think on the day this bits pilani, right, they published the result online also. I got some okay score, and I could get admission into a few bits colleges and all. And at the same time I got admission into VIT and Manipal also. And I was not at all keen on joining them. So that day was something which was very, I think, turning point in my life, I can say. That day, my uncle, who was in Hyderabad, like, so he was about to come to my house in his car, saying that, okay, now we'll go to Vellore because VIT counseling is there tomorrow. So that time it was not online, it was like you had to go in person. Then from there, we'll go to Manipal and, things like that. And my parents said, okay, now we'll join him in some college. Let us see. And I didn't want to go anywhere. I was very firm on it. I just shouted, created a ruckus, saying that I'm not coming at all. And so I created a very big scene. Like, my mother, she just broke down and said, okay, fine, you will do well, you know uh, you know you're very clear about this, so you're going to do well. Fine, you study for one more year. So that evening we went to one Narayana, which people told us is good. So I was enrolled in the coaching there. So this is what. So if I think I was not firm on that day, then I think I would have had a maybe different life, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. And that level of conviction at such a young age, knowing, you have to go there. Okay, Three Idiots may be just a part of it, but it shows like our generation it had a lot of impact, that one single movie. Yeah. I heard a lot of other shows that have done, they're also commenting on, a little bit of here and there the impact it created. Yeah. That first year, the first attempt you tried, you did not do well, maybe partly due to you not being well, partly because your preparation was also not well. And then you were convinced that second year you want to go through. So, what was the change that you noticed in yourself that made you successful the second time around?
So I think the main thing is I wanted to clear the exam, and second thing is I had a very concrete plan of how I should prepare for it, and I was very confident that I can do it by myself also, because I had a big list of what not to do. So yeah, I just had not it was just that I shouldn't be doing that. That's it. So I joined this institute, the Narayana branch there, and so there I got to know Abhishek Bagati and a few more people who are our batchmates in Kharagpur. And yeah, so there also the treatment was a little different towards people who are like repeating, because they are not really given as much importance, or the maybe I should say respect that they deserve, because people in the Spark batch, of course, they are in the top section and they're going to clear JEE, but they have the hope that they'll be clearing JEE. But people who are in this repeaters batch were kind of seen as a maybe failures also. So that perception was there. It was not told outside, but it was there. I could feel that. It's not so stone-hearted to be very insensitive to it, but yes, it was there. I think that was one reason I never used to go to the institute very regularly. I used to go to some important classes and prepare at my home. Read, okay, so and so textbooks for physics, so and so textbooks for chemistry, so and so textbooks for mathematics. So I charted out the entire plan by myself, and I wanted to do it. But there was a lot of tension at home, because what if again I get some fever or something the next time I'm writing, something very serious happens the next time I'm writing IIT. And some of my friends were in IITs and IITs, local engineering colleges and all. They were all settled well. And I'm still not, settled. So that tension was also there. So I should say, it was not a very easy time for me. But I think the ambition towards clearing IIT JEE and, daily I was reading something and I was feeling that I'm getting more equipped to clear the exam. That was just keeping me going.
So coming to the IIT day itself, the second
Uh,
time around.
yeah.
So hopefully you are feeling better this time. So what was going on in your mind? Were you nervous at all? What were you thinking? What if again? Or you
I
were
was
so much
I was
prepared that yeah.
So I was a little nervous, not very much nervous, a little nervous, just about thinking of those, unexpected events. And see, you could also, not properly write, like strike in your OMR, right? You can also miss out on doing that. So I was, scared of those kind of unforeseen incidents. I did not prepare one chapter in physics, thermodynamics completely. Okay, so I was just hoping that there won't be many questions from that chapter. That's it, nothing else. So it was okay. So I wrote the first paper. I was expecting a decent, good score. I was expecting around 160, 170 out of 240. So physics was relatively a little tougher. Other two were comparatively easy, compared to the last year's paper. And one thing was I solved all the IIT JEE papers from 2000 to 2010 that time. So I had a clear picture of okay, what is going to come. So this was my preparation. That's it. Not solving a lot of competitive exams and all that. So that I felt like okay, now if I perform like this in the second paper also, it's going to be okay. And coming to the second paper, I finished it like 15 minutes. Like whatever I could answer, I answered it like 15 minutes ahead of the time. So it was from 2 to 5. I finished by around 4:45. From 4:45 to 5, I was like very complacent. I did some, checking and all that. And so after exam, I'll be going home. And so on the way, there is a very nice biryani. Its name is Bawarchi Biryani. It's quite world famous, right? Anyone from Hyderabad will know it. So I was just dreaming of that biryani, nothing else. And I was happy with my performance, in the paper. So I called my mom and she said, I told her that, okay, I'm going to get around 380 for sure in the exam. So she said, no, 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 don't talk about the marks. It's all over. Because she also wanted some relief because she was also tense for the entire 1 year. Right? She didn't want to talk about it. I said, I will get this much and done. And on the way home, this Narayana Institute is there. I went there also. I just went there to thank my lecturers, teachers, and everyone. But then they were rigorously discussing the question paper. I didn't want to do that. I just was there for a while, and I came home.
Okay. So what were you looking forward to most after clearing this, sorry, finishing the exam? Was it the Bawarchi Biryani or the Narayana class?
Bawarchi biryani first, and I wanted to thank my teachers. Like actually, my father did not want to stop there. He just wanted to go home. I said, okay, just stop here. I'll just, I just wanted to go and thank them, nothing else.
You have this idea in your mind that okay, I'll be scoring really well this time. Marks is as per expectation, and then coming to the result day, what was that day experience like? Did it match up with your expectation?
No, it matched up. My expectations changed in due course of time. So that time, so it matched finally. Not the rank, but other things matched. So what happened was I did some silly mistakes in chemistry. Okay, in second paper. So it was deceptively simple. Like it was quite easy. Like after seeing the question, I did not have to think for so much time to solve or for the answer. So second paper is from 2 to 5, right? So from 2 to 2:30, I finished chemistry. I attempted for 77 marks out of 80 marks. Okay, so one after I came home in the couple of days, I just saw like okay how I'm scoring, and all the other subject I was scoring almost what I expected because most of what I wrote was okay fine. This chemistry, I did very silly mistakes. Like there was some question on isotopes. I, wrote made some other isotope. I missed out on something at a couple of places. Instead of plus, I put minus. All very silly mistakes like that. So yeah, so I scored 29 in chemistry, and I attempted for 77 marks. And all the other subjects, I got almost the same score I was thinking of. In fact, in physics in the first paper, I got more than what I actually thought. But chemistry, I got 29 after attempting for 77 marks. So yeah, that was a big shock. But okay, I don't regret it now because I'm happy for whatever has happened after that. So yeah.
So once you get the rank, do you remember any celebrations in your house?
No celebrations as such. So the day before the result, some ranks were flashing in my mind. All these three-digit numbers like 600 something, 700 something, 500 something, and I was also fixated on some colleges like I think IIT Madras or IIT Kanpur, because the IITians I heard of, like, they actually scored very good ranks and they went to IIT Kanpur. So for me, IIT Kanpur was maybe a best IIT. I don't know. I never wanted to go to IIT Delhi for I don't know why. So maybe IIT. So I was just thinking, like, these figures were just running in my mind just the day before the IIT exam. On the result day, like, I first, when I loaded the page, it was saying invalid, not loading, something like that. Then after a couple of minutes, I loaded again. First I saw the cutoff. The cutoff was like 229. It was very high. Right, it was almost double of the previous year's cutoff. That was very shocking. So I scored 321 marks. So for that I got a rank of 1171. And my parents were very happy. Like, my dad hugged me, my mom also, was very happy for clearing the exam. And my dad knew about IITs because some of his colleagues are from IITs. He knows about different IITs and different branches. And it's like, okay, you can get these so and so branches in these IITs, so we'll see about it.
Okay. Then you said that you already thought about a few IITs in your head, some dream institutes, you may say. So, how did you go about choosing the department and the IIT once you got your result?
So Kharagpur was never in my list because I didn't somehow research about IIT Kharagpur. And um, some people who just spread rumors, they did not say good things about Kharagpur. But I think those not so good things are there in all the colleges and all the IITs, so that is different. But yeah, so Kharagpur was not in my list, so it was maybe IIT Madras or IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur maybe. And all, where I was getting Bombay, I was getting all aerospace and those branches. In Madras, I was getting some mechanical dual degree and one or two electrical dual degrees also. In Kanpur, also, I was getting some aerospace mechanical dual degrees and all. Then my dad actually, after clearing the JEE exam, so he enrolled me into this programming classes because I lost touch with C programming after school or after maybe 11. So he enrolled me into those classes so that I can learn well. But I was not in a mood to learn things, and somehow the programming also did not really intrigue me. I was in a very vacation mode. So uh, then my dad said, okay, IIT Guwahati has computer science, we'll put this in the option. So I think that was the most probable choice that I would have gotten for my rank. And the day before we were supposed to close the freeze our this thing list, no, I think my mom said, okay, IIT Kharagpur electrical, it's there somewhere, have you not seen this? Then somehow something happened. This electrical dual degree in Kharagpur went just above Guwahati computer science, and I got there. So department was okay, but college was not something I really thought about or nothing. So yeah, that was how it
Okay.
was.
So, with that, we come to the end of the first section, life before IIT. So, we'll move on to the next, which is life at IIT.
Mhm.
So, do you remember, the first impressions of KGP as an institute for you? Because granted, it was not your first choice, but then you got it and you then came to know about it. It's the biggest, the oldest IIT, the grandest that you come to KGP. What was the first day like for you?
Yeah, so I just researched on seeing this IIT KGP map. I went through the IIT KGP website and things like that before coming, just to feel good about myself because I never wanted to come to Kharagpur. So, but the first day I came, it was really good. The campus was very good. So I came with my parents and my younger brother, and all of us were very happy. And we first got into that bus outside the railway station. It was raining quite heavily that day. So yeah, so it was fine. Like, the campus was very good. The hostel room also was very good. So it was not as bad as I thought. I mean, Triple M is okay, right? So yeah, it was fine, and campus was also nice, and yeah. So we were in the technology guest house. We first went to the Triple M hall, put some of my luggage there, went to TGH, settled over there, then just roamed around, and we went to a tech market, purchased the cycle, the red color Atlas cycle. It was very good, and then purchased some few essential items, and yeah, came back. And another thing was that, see, when I went there, I knew almost 20 to 30 people over there, like who were there with me during Sharma Coaching Center, who actually repeated, for 1 year and joined there. So, I mean, I wished that everyone was a stranger around me, but yeah, I knew people, so that helped me in getting into the comfort zone. So, yeah.
Okay. So one of the first things that you notice while entering KGP is
Hmm.
also a change in the food, right? You're coming from South, and I'm assuming this is your first time in Bengal. So how was the food experience like?
So I've had Bengali food before also. Like we had a couple of family friends who are Bengalis. So we also used to visit the Durga Puja Pandal
Hmm.
near our house. So I knew a little bit about the Bengali food. The food was okay. See, it was the taste was okay. So I like to try out different foods, and I like to try out at that time also. So anything made with good proportion, right proportion is okay for me. It was fine. It was just that it was not very hygienic. So that is the only thing. So I remember, like my parents when they visited the campus again, they went to I think Tikka. Then we went to Heritage also. See, it was not hygienic, so that was the only thing. But the food was okay. But one culture shock which I had was so Tech Market was closed in the afternoon, right? So I thought some hartal or something like that must have been there, but then I realized that okay, daily it is closed. So because people take a nap in the afternoon, so that was really shocking to me. So that was one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you maybe don't know, I'll explain it a bit. Because what happens is Bengal is we don't have roti and rice together for any meal. So
Hmm.
it's either roti or rice, and it's
Okay.
divided such that in the lunch, which is generally around 12:30 to 1:30 the time, we'll always have rice.
Mm-hmm.
Rice with dal, with fish, with chicken, whatever. But rice is the main dish, others are
Okay.
side dish. Okay. And
Okay.
after eating rice, you know what happens. You
Yeah.
get sleeping. And then there was a culture, at least at that time, that the snap used to call bhat ghum. So rice is bhat and sleep is ghum. So bhat ghum for around 2 hours. So it'll be all closed. And then it was kind of like our IIT exams in a way, the two sessions, 9 to 12 and then 2 to 5. So
Yeah.
those were the times. So yeah, that was kind of
I
it.
hope our professors also took that, but so yeah, I used to get this feeling sometimes. Okay, so to be honest, yeah.
Okay. We'll come to the coursework. So you took the electrical branch, and electrical in KGP especially is known to be a very strict branch. The professors are strict, the marking is strict. So how was your experience with electrical?
I think the experience changed from year to year, right? So it was very different. Um, so to begin with, like in the first year, we were not really exposed so much to the department except for the I think the electrical lab, right? So I still remember some parts of it, like wearing shoes, then those vivas before the experiments, and we working on these bulbs. There was one experiment, right? So yeah, that one, and yeah, so
And Bagati was our lab mate, the three of us together.
that was the best part. So he neutralized all that, viva and all that tension. So that was the best part of it, I should say.
Do you remember breaking that bulb in one of our experiments? And all of us just turning towards us and looking at
Exactly.
what.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And we actually, I remember we went on, I think, the next weekend or some other day to repeat that experiment. Uh, that photo is there on Facebook. Like there's a pic which has like three bulbs, like one very brightly lit, one some yellow, tungsten bulb, and all that. So yeah, I'll share that with you. So yeah, so for me, I wanted to like try out the electrical department, and I thought, okay, I've come here, so let me see what the department has to offer. Maybe the college must be preparing me to become an electrical engineer, so I thought, let me see if I'm getting interest in these subjects or not. And professors over there, see, they were very knowledgeable, they were very well equipped to teach us. The labs were also good. They were quite outdated though, but they were quite good. There was a good infrastructure and everything. But what didn't fall into place was the teaching. We had these signals and systems, and all these courses, and they were quite tough. The network theory, signals and systems, and and the basic I think analog, not basic electronics, the labs and everything, right? So they were not easy, and if you really have to understand them, it takes time. It's not easy, right? So now I work day in and day out on those things, and I still take a lot of time in figuring out things, and it's different. Right? So a semester is not sufficient to understand those subjects or appreciate them, given if they are taught like that. And in the electrical lab, also in the signals and systems lab, we had one professor. He used to just shout on us, and the experiments also were arranged in a way that they'll be in one some particular order. So some groups will be getting the last experiment of the list, and that is related to the topic which is usually taught at a very later stage of the semester, right? So that was there was a lot of mismatch there, and then we had to prepare those and go to the lab and answer the viva which is being asked by the professors and all. So that was a little demotivating. It was, I think it shouldn't have been that done that way. So a lot of students, what they do is they just try to like do some jugad, and they just try to survive the 3 hours of lab. And yeah, we have to go with our shoes. All the strict instructions are there, but yeah, so we shouldn't be blasting anything. We shouldn't be getting shocked. We have to take care of ourselves, and we have to complete the experiment. So because of that, what happens is a lot of people can't appreciate the department. And another point is that it's not a very lucrative field. Like, even to achieve a very small result, it takes years together. So yeah, so that was how it was in in second year, first sem of second year. And there was get going to the new hall, adjusting over there, and we had illu, all those things, right? And that was, I remember this incident very clearly, that we had Diwali on one weekday, I think. The day before that, there was a lab exam, then I think a class test of this, I think EC, intro to EC, that subject. And there was also some viva from EC. And I think the next 2 days following Diwali, it was the lab exams and viva and class tests of some other subject. So that was very that was quite pressurizing. So that was the level of pressure that most of the students had to undergo, because the subjects are not easy. It takes time to, and the thing is, it's not, you can't, it's very difficult to visualize them. So it's, you have to imagine a lot. So yeah, so I think that was quite difficult. Yeah, and in the next year, in fourth year, we had these machines and all that. I again, got into that studying mode, and I wanted to learn the subjects well. And the semester was not sufficient for that, and I was also distracted with a lot of going around fests and things like that. So I did not clear the machines exam. So I failed in electrical machines in the fourth semester. I came back to the college in summer, and I wrote the exam. And my professor, he said, I spoke to the professor. He said that, okay, you were quite attentive in class, so maybe I failed you so that you can read things again, and then tried it. Maybe he was very diplomatic, but yeah, this is something which he told me, that he wanted me to read. Yeah, that was in brief my second year there.
Yeah. So very important again that once you clear IT, even the best of ranks, it's not that IIT itself will be very easy. The courses are tough. depending on some of the branches as well. CS, EC, EE, especially. The courses are really tough, and then you may not know, you may not develop an interest for some of the subjects. You may not like and it somehow may not end up passing it as well. And then it happened with me as well. I failed in RF, the radio frequency, the course. It was so boring, and yeah, I did not like it at
Tell
all.
me
But then,
about RF.
yeah. Okay, and then yeah, I had to give the supplementary exam again, coming back to KJP during my summer holidays. So yeah, that goes on as well. So yeah, the IIT itself, you have to follow some sort of study schedule. It may not be that you will develop an interest for all the subjects, but you have to manage to pass, otherwise you won't get the degree as well, right?
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, you were saying something about RF.
No, no, I said that I heard the same from my, from some of our other friends also about RF. Yeah.
I can go on a rant about RF now. I still don't
Right.
remember, a single topic that I studied well for RF. But still, if I write the exam, even today after studying for, 2, 3 weeks or so, I'll still fail it. But yeah, luckily during that time, I passed. So grateful for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Coming to KGB culture again, so like you have this huge campus, right? Did you take part in some of the other activities apart from academics that went on?
Um, so I was not a very active member in any society or anything like that. So one thing was I like to travel a lot and I like to explore the places. So as a part of that, I explored Kharagpur, I explored Kolkata. I explored a lot of places in Bengal and Orissa whenever I used to get some time. I tried out different foods and all that. So that was one thing. And I think I most cherish the time I spent with my friends, like either playing badminton or sometimes basketball. So we used to like regularly, play badminton all night in any of the halls. So that was the best part about halls, right? So that is the thing. And
Yep. And in KGP especially, all of the boys' hostels at least had this one cricket field, one football field, one badminton court, one cricket small court that you can play. So it's huge amount of space and a lot of facilities as well. So yeah, a lot to enjoy. Very part of the sorry, the general championships that went on as well, the sports culture, or sports or tech.
So in cultural, I participated once in this Eastern vocals. So as I said, I'm classically trained and I'm a Veena player, right? So I didn't get the instrument to Kharagpur, but I participated in my second and third year in the singing.
So the rigors of IIT placement season. So IITs are known for their
Correct.
crippling placement seasons. Also, so what was it like for you?
So since I'm a dual degree, I was a dual degree student. I saw people, undergoing this placement season when I was in fourth year. I helped a lot of my friends. Like I used to go to Nalanda and give them any thing they need. Sometimes so they needed they needed dual degree people, and luckily I was there because I had to complete my project also. So I happened to be there. So that was one thing. And after my fourth year, I did an internship with GE. So they confirmed that, not confirmed, as in they told me verbally that they will be giving me an offer, but according to the company policies, they can release the offer letter maybe 2 3 months before joining, something like that. So I was like, okay. And I did not prepare much for the placements. And yeah, so one thing was that I think on the fourth or fifth day of the placements, right, I thought I'll just apply for these so and so core companies. So I applied for one core company, Robert Bosch, I think. And I went to the interview. And when I went to the interview, there were a few more of our batchmates and few people. They were all very angry at me. They were like, "This guy got some off-campus placement, and he's coming here for, uh, you know, um, he's applying for another company also." So they were very angry on me. They were like quite close friends. There were some of them were from my department, some of them were my lab partners and all, but they were quite angry on me. I remember that. But fine, I went to the interview, and the role was for another position. So I was very sure that I don't want to do this, and I told them that okay, this is not what I'm looking for. So, but I did tell them that please don't, Uh, remember that you've put me in the list. Maybe you should give chance to another person instead of my name in the list. I did tell them this one, and I applied for another company also after that. The same a similar thing happened. So I after the technical interview, I was not called for the next round, and a few people were like, "Okay, you did not get selected. Good, we don't have any threat now." So that was the thing, and so everyone was under a lot of pressure. And I think the third company, I was basically shortlisted at four companies, much before they even came to the campus, because their placement exams were conducted, I think, on the first 2 3 days of the placements only. So I was shortlisted for four companies, and the third company, I went there in the morning. There was only 10 people in the interview, this one shortlist. Went there in the morning at around 9 o'clock or something. I was called for the interview at around 5 or 4:30ish in the evening. I couldn't do anything. Like, I just had to wait there because I was not sure like whether they're calling me or not. And they called me, and they asked me some very completely different questions from what was there in the CV. So they were asking me uh, about how these IC engine cars work, how what exactly happens when they start and all. I said I don't know this that well. I know how to drive a car. Maybe I can explain you from that perspective. So the interview lasted for 5 minutes, and that's it. But then I felt that okay, this is something which a lot of a lot of my friends and a lot of my juniors, like the BTech 4 year people, must be undergoing, and this is why they're crying out, and this is the stress they're facing. So yeah, so that gave me such kind of a realization. But yeah, so that was the placement. I got placed in the other company. I gave the interview for that company. I got placed there, and yeah, so I joined GE, which gave me this, the offer after internship.
So we'll move on to the next section, which is life after IIT. So Sai, what is your current role and what is your day-to-day work life like?
So currently, I'm working with an electric vehicle startup. The name of the startup is River, and they make electric two wheelers. So I work in the motor control department. I work on basically the design of the motor drives and motor controls, which are used
Yeah,
in
that is
the.
very unique because one of the very few people who go out of electrical department into a core engineering job. So how was it different? Do you speak to your friends who are rather gone into either computer software or analytics or MBA or done so many other things?
No, I took this decision of going into core field. By when one by one, a lot of events unfolded in KGP, and I was also not sure. So one thing is that I joined electrical engineering to try to stick to the core field. I thought if I'm joining this engineering branch, let me see uh, whether this is helping me or not. It was a very conventional mindset that I had, maybe. So so one thing is, after I failed the electric machines course, I watched around 50 to 60 NPTEL, because if you think about it now, the theory or the science behind electrical machines is very good. It's interesting and unique, right? And So then I developed interest in it, and I also visited a company, BHEL in Hyderabad, to see what they're doing and all. So one of my very far relative used to work there, so he just said, "Okay, you come, you can see." So I thought, yeah, they're working on machines. So okay, it's nice. So let me give it a try. Then at the end of third year, I was supposed to select the department, and I wanted to work on these machines only. And because I worked so hard to study that, I worked so hard in the lab. So I thought, okay, it's interesting. So I want to see what can be done. Then went to a few professors and I asked them, so I'm interested in this, which branch I should select. So all of them said one thing, that it's not a very lucrative field. It's You have to struggle so much to get even a small result. But if you want to work on machines or these things, you select this so and so branch. That's it. So I selected that branch, and yeah, I did projects like my BTP and MTP under a professor in that particular group in electrical engineering department, and yeah, and I joined the core company after after final year.
Okay. And what does your day-to-day job entail? Like, what do you do generally?
So it's all about designing circuits. I currently am working on design of a motor drive, and so my day-to-day job involves like ensuring that the hardware everything is correct. I work on selecting different components which are to be placed in the hardware and trying to get things work properly. Like a resistor doesn't behave as how it is drawn in the textbooks and all. There are a lot of other elements involved, right? So so I try to get things right. And electric vehicles have motors, so I work on controlling of those motors. So you just give the throttle, the motor has to behave the way you've asked it to behave. So it has to run like that. So yeah, so I that is my day to day work. So I work in the lab for most of the time, and yeah, I deal with all oscilloscopes, soldering, and all these kind of not so what to say, not so very comfy kind of a work. So that's my day-to-day life.
Okay, let me ask you something which I'm not asked generally of other guests. So, because you are in a core electrical job and you have been doing this for the last 8 years, so
Correct.
what would you change about the IIT curriculum, especially for electrical, to
Okay.
manage, the needs or the requirements of the industry that you are currently working in? So, would you make some alterations to the curriculum so that students are more inclined towards the electrical jobs rather than just going for software or other stuff they do?
um So one thing is that compared to the other IITs like IIT Bombay, Delhi, Kanpur, and all these IITs, IIT Kharagpur has like two departments like separate for EC and electrical, and that is a good thing because in other IITs students are taught like half of each department, and it's quite pressurizing for them. And second thing is, I think the labs, electrical labs, need to be slightly upgraded because we don't use all these, oscilloscope. No, not oscilloscopes. I mean those big galvanometers, ammeters, and all in in the industry. So times have advanced, and I think everyone needs to upskill themselves. So that is one thing, and most importantly, I feel that it is the professors who need to change because. Yeah, I think it is the teachers who need to shape the students, right? So we need to have more teachers. And as a PhD, if you're doing a PhD or masters, you can really appreciate your professors for what they have done, or as someone who can guide you through your coursework. But as a BTech, you need good teachers. So most of the professors are not good teachers, so I think that needs to change. So I think it's mainly the professors outlook that needs to change. So people have developed interest in different things, then why not this, and why not some more core engineering branch.
So, any suggestions for students who are currently studying for IIT? Maybe some are in the repeater batch who will relate to your story a lot. Uh, and also students in IIT, which who are maybe in electrical, maybe are going through some of the labs that you spoke about. Any suggestions for them as to how to navigate the situation better?
So for students who are preparing for JEE or who have taken a year off for preparing for JEE, I think it's more about you should be having an aim to nowadays in this competitive world it's very important to have an aim to achieve what you want, and you need to have some path for yourself. I feel like I think now the people who are around 8 or 9 years younger to us, they are usually referred to as Gen Z, and I can maybe I'm feeling old, but I see some sort of a generation gap. So one thing is that they're really quite mature compared to how we were at that age, and they have access to a lot of social media, so they should be able to figure it out better. But I think the most important thing is to have an aim for whatever you're doing. And Yeah, so even with JE preparation also, so I really can't comment on people who are actually being, coached very rigorously because they have their own timetable, and they may not get the time to watch this also. Maybe we can't say that, but yeah. So for those who are preparing for the exam on their own, or who have got some time off the classes also, I feel that you should be reading maybe the textbooks. You should get your fundamentals clear. You should read NCRT books, and the most important thing is solve all the IIT JEE papers before you try to attempt any competitive exams. Just solve the IIT JEE papers. That should be sufficient. So this is from my experience of preparing for JEE.
Okay, and that is important. That will also help students who are in IIT as well, because we have this access of all the question papers from previous years of those specific courses as well. So a lot of other guests have suggested, just preparing those in a way will help you get through to understanding of how the teacher thinks as what questions are important, and that will again help you in preparing as a starting point, like which
Yeah,
angle to proceed with the preparation for individual courses in IIT as well. So yeah,
yeah,
that's a very good point, Sai. Okay.
and
So changing tax totally differently. So you said you are a new parent now. So how is parenting life going on for you? And any tips for new parents?
it's keeping me very busy actually. So basically you need to get accustomed to everything, and it takes some time. It's not like how they show in movies that people are elated or feel so happy as soon as a kid arrives. It takes time because a new person has come to you, and you are responsible for the entire life of that person. So it's a different experience. So I should say that, yeah. So just go with the flow, and I think parents are the best people to I think, yes, parents are the best people to know what is best for their child, especially when they're baby.
Okay. So with that, we'll move on to the rapid fire section as well. Quick questions, quick answers. So, okay, let's go. Favorite subject before I.
All like maybe maths, chemistry, yeah, maybe social studies, English,
Okay.
and also
Okay. Favorite professor in IIT.
there was this professor named Gautam Podar. So he's my favorite professor.
What did he teach you?
He taught us when I was in doing the master's curriculum. So he taught electric drives, and he had a very good industrial experience. So it was good. He was a good teacher more than anything else. So yeah,
Okay. Favorite course in IIT.
nothing as such. It was all courses were it was okay. So yeah, there was one elective which I took. It was in the VG SOM, the Vinod Gupta management. So the name of the course was Human Behavior in Organization. It was nice. I enjoyed that course. It was different from the regular coursework. So I was not very regular to classes. I was regular to that class. It was nice. It was
Yeah,
very interactive.
interest dictates attendance, for a lot of.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, same for me. Even, I was not interested at all in the electronic subjects. My attendance would dip a lot. I used to
Yeah.
get called out by the professors for not having proper attendance. That is a separate. But there was a one class in, I think it was held in the Takshira building or somewhere
Mhm.
nearby, where it was just intellectual property law. It was nothing to
Uh-huh.
do with core. It was just, dealing
I know.
to do with, having ideas. Who actually holds the ownership of ideas? Is it idea versus execution? And then the rights and uh, the fundamentals basically. And it was so interesting, so different from what we were getting taught regularly. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was very interesting for me. Okay. Most enjoyable year at IIT.
Um, I think third to fifth years were good, enjoyable. Like fifth year was enjoyable because everyone was placed, and we went to a lot of parties. We explored a lot of places like outside campus, like Shere Punjab, Shergill, and we all went on group trips and all. Fifth year was good that way, and I didn't have to go through the dreaded placement season.
Okay.
And so that was one thing. So it was very chill for me. And other enjoyable year, maybe third year, I can say, because I got single room in third year, so it was different. So it was nice. So yeah.
Okay. Most confusing year at IIT.
I think second year, um, because I was not understanding what is going on, and a very confusing new hall, then new professors, and getting scolded by professors regularly, and yeah, so I was not understanding what was going on and why this is happening, and it was very haphazard.
Favorite KGP lingo.
So it's been a long time since I used all these lingos, but I think peace is one thing. And peace was, I think, very unique because I think all the people who spoke their own, regional languages, they used that word in their own language also, right? And maybe I think macha dia, makha dia, that is also something I was Macau. Yeah, so that was very new to me, so that was also good. I think, yeah,
Yeah, so I also noticed like Machao and Macau, there's a just a single letter difference, C and K. So that used to
exactly,
change. Totally different.
correct, correct.
Yeah, so with that we come to the end of the episode. It has been really fun chatting with Sai Bharadwaj. So he gave us a lot of insights right from his childhood, preparing for IIT, the school life that he went through, and then the specifics of repeating the IIT or how to deal with it, having an aim and having a proper strategy in place. Thermodynamics was not a strong concept for him, but then he managed his way around it. And then coming to IIT, loving the campus and then loving the institute, the avenues it offered, having a little struggle with electrical, and then and then getting to into a core engineering job as well. So that is a very good journey for Bharadwaj. So yeah, thanks Bharadwaj for joining.
Thank you. Thank you
And
for
yeah, so this has been IIT podcast with Somnath signing off.